I haven't had this one out much this year, but it's getting to be mid-August, and like I said in the last video, I'm going to do a carb sync on this one. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to take it for a ride first and see what it looks like, how it runs, if there's anything else I need to pay attention to while I'm doing that. So first thing to do, both sides, fuel petcocks on. I always shut these off on the older bikes because they have leaked and filled up the oil tank or the oil reservoir a couple times on me in the past. Ice cold. Let's see how she starts. Pretty good. Let her run here till it goes a little rough, gets a little rich. There we go. Starts climbing. So we'll put her down on first notch of choke. Give it a couple minutes to warm up. Like I said before, I only run non-oxygenated fuel in these. This one's got about a half tank in it. I filled it up earlier this year. I'm not going to fill it today, but I definitely fill them up and put stable in it prior to storing over the winter. The only problem with this bike so far is there is a slight drip out of the chain tensioner. I have a new one, or another one. I'm going to be swapping that out here shortly to stop that drip. There's a 14 millimeter plastic oil seal in the middle that always fails on these. That's about a $14 part. Haven't bought that one, but my other one looks like it's pretty good. There's a couple O-rings inside, but I just got to get around to doing that. I'll probably do it after I sync the carbs. For no reason other than it's just kind of a nuisance. It doesn't really do anything. And like I said before, this is a late 80s or early 80s muscle bike, and it is really a tall bike. Had it on the side stand or center stand. I have had all the carbs and things apart on this one in the past. Not quite warmed up yet, but not bad. I synchronize these by ear, so it does idle pretty smooth, but we're gonna take some time in the next week and pull the tank off and do a full synchronization with the CarbTune tool I just bought, just to see how far off I was. Oh, fresh gravel, yuck. Didn't realize that. Just gonna take it easy a little bit here. Doesn't feel like there's loose gravel here, but it said there was, so I'll believe them until I prove it otherwise. So this bike, as compared to my CB750, is geared a little bit different. So right at 55 miles an hour, I'm running about 3,700 RPM. See if I can get it there and stable. So yeah, about 37. It's got plenty of power. Runs great. This one's only got 15,000. I just turned it over. I bought it with about 14.5, something like that. It had been sitting a couple of years, needed carbs cleaned. Pretty simple job. This is really a nice bike. Condition wise, the original owner kept very good care of it. And a couple of years before I bought it, he had a friend of his who was a Yamaha mechanic go through everything. He put new tires on it, he put new replacement, whatever he could find NOS. When I bought it, on the side of the tank here, there was just one small knee compression, so I used a PDR tool, a glue puller, and popped that out. I took my time, so it's nice and smooth. If you look for it, you can see that it was there. If you didn't know it was there, you'll never see it. I took it up to a place in, well, about 30 miles from here, and thought, well, maybe they could pop that out for $100. It was worth it because it's in such nice shape. And they said, yeah, we can do that. We can make it look perfect. You'll never know it was there, even if you look for it. And I said, great, how much? You know, thinking it's going to be $100 or so. No, they wanted $300 to make the fixture and clamp up the tank and take a look at it. Then they would charge me whatever it took to get that out of there. Now there is a fuel access panel on the back side on the bottom, so it wouldn't have been a big deal at all to take that, pop that panel off and go in and, you know, have direct access to everything. But I'm not going to spend $500 on a PDR when I can do it myself. And again, it's not a perfect bike. This is the bike that I mentioned that on the mirrors here, and I'll show it to you later. On the back of the mirrors, the original owner, when he bought the bike, he peeled off this kind of clear blue plastic, and he missed a little chunk, and it's down by the pivot. And I thought, oh, I should take that off. But I thought that's kind of really cool that that's the original plastic on there. It's just a little tiny fragment. You can't see it unless you're looking for it. But I thought it was kind of cool to have it there, so I'm leaving it. I originally didn't like these buckhorn bars either. They look kind of stupid, but they're really comfortable to ride. I think if I wanted to make changes, I would put a little bit of a broader buckhorn on it that came kind of at an angle over or something like this, rather than being so straight up and down back. But it's really comfortable to ride. Again, I'm a short guy, so it's not a big deal. If you're super tall, it might be a little bit different, but I'm not. It has been super hot here this summer in Minnesota. It has not been any fun to ride to work. I have done it a few times, but it has cooled off a little bit. It's about 75 today, which is really nice. It's going to be up in the 90s and about 100 a week, the week of Labor Day, which is, I think, Monday the 4th. So I was hoping to get some more longer rides in. I think that will be garage week, so I'll be working on a few things. I have a snowblower I have some work to do on. I might film that. It's really a simple fix, so I don't know if I'll bother. It's kind of basic single cylinder stuff. If I have any trouble with it, I'll for sure film it and see what kind of a problem I have there. My dad passed away about a little over 10 years ago now, and my mom still has a bunch of his stuff, small single cylinder engines, I think they're all singles, in the garage. And I'm gonna go load those up, bring them back. Most of them I think ran. They'll just need carbs cleaned. I won't film that, but I think there's a couple of them. There's a nice big Milwaukee single cylinder. I think it's a 19 horsepower. It's all tore apart. I don't know what's wrong with it, what was good, what was bad when he was working on it. So I will be probably doing a rebuild on that one. But that's for future me to worry about, not today. It's too nice day for a ride. Now, I've been riding vintage pretty much all summer. I've only put maybe 700 miles on my Harley. So this fall I think I'll be doing a little more touring, and maybe I'll take you guys along for a few rides there. Nothing too exciting. Everything in southern Minnesota here, just south of the metro, it all looks like this. So I have the idea to do an iron butt. I was going to do it in late September, but turns out I have some other obligations I can't get out of for that. So from where I'm at, I think there's a couple of destinations I could ride out to Sturgis and back, which is kind of a boring ride across South Dakota, but it's, you know, you clip along pretty good. Otherwise, my boss said he would ride with me if we wanted to go and do a trip from here up through Fargo and out to Dickinson, North Dakota. Have lunch, turn around, drive back. That's a long day of North Dakota, but it's not a bad ride. It's pretty country out there. I also thought about going down to the Kansas City route, but that's boring. That's freeway and it's straight. You could haul, but it's just not any fun. So maybe I'll wait till spring. Maybe not. I think I will. Well, I was going to take a left up here and go across the river and take a loop back through another path that I haven't been on this summer, but I looked at the map, and across the bridge, the highway's still all tore up through downtown of that area. So I don't want to get into any gravel and potholes and issues like that with this bike. I haven't run it enough this summer to feel really comfortable riding it. It feels a little tall right now, and it is a big bike. But my Super Glide and my CB750 are both very low, and I'm used to that lower center of gravity. So I don't think I'll be doing that today. This one I've decided is going to go down the road next year. Haven't decided on a price or anything yet, but I just don't ride it. It is big. I really like it. I'll never find another one like it again, but I've had it since I think 2016 and maybe put 500-600 miles on it. It's just, I like looking at it, tuning it, things like that, but I don't want to ride it too much. $60 miles an hour, 4,100. This one's way different than the CB750. That one's, like I said, it's a smaller bike, lower center of gravity, and on this road right here, it's super bumpy on that one. So I got some suspension mods I want to do on that one. Just to see if I can't compensate for that. It's a little bumpy here though, so I may have been feeling it on this bike. But that one, when I'm doing 60 miles an hour, it feels like I'm doing 60 miles an hour. On this one, I can cruise along here. It just feels like I'm puttering around because I'm sitting up tall, and it's got plenty of power, and it's not, you know, it's not a high revving engine. It's just a nice cruiser. Going to go through a neighborhood up ahead here that has I won't say twisties, but it's got a newly tarred kind of curvy road. I would call it twisties if it was longer, but I'm going to take it easy through there because this one, like I said, the tires they're pretty new, but they're a few years old, so they're not as soft. They haven't been scuffed up a lot lately. And it's higher center of gravity, blah blah blah, so I'm not gonna risk it and go cranking through there and end up on my side. That would be something you'd never see, because that'd really be embarrassing, and I'd scratch my bike and I'd be really upset. Now if you've seen any of my other videos about the CB750 carburetor woes, way different experience on this bike. These are the VM42s, Makunis. That one has got the Kian VB42s, and the difference is this has the nice it's kind of a rubber baffle on the slides, so these slides run really smooth compared to the Kians, which are all metal. I know you get good high end on them because they're wide open at high vacuum, but that doesn't really help you at all at low speed. And that one runs really good now, but it took me a long time to figure out the intricacies of that bike. I'm a big Yamaha fan in general. I've had all my snowmobiles of the last few years. The ones that I actually ride have been Yamahas. All my other motorcycles, I had a Kawasaki. I didn't like that one at all. I had the CB, and I've had a couple other ones that were non-Yamahas, but all the Yamahas are so much easier to work on. Everything fits. You can get parts for almost anything. There's a junkyard close to here that's really good for finding the oddball piece, and they got a huge Yamaha section. Now I'm not getting on this thing at all in here. It's got way more power than I need, and if you look closely here, if you can see it, there's gravel in every intersection. City of Shakopee, in their wisdom, loves this orange rock, class 5, and they pile it in everybody's yards along the street to fill in the gap along the curb, or not the curb, there's no curb, but along the I missed my turn. Gotta turn around up here. But they pile it in here against that. Number one, it gets in the lawnmower and it chews everything up and just dulls your blades. Look at here, tons of it. But it gets all over the street because people go racing through here. There's no curb, so they cut every corner. The postal service does that every single time. They're driving on everybody's yards every year, which I don't care. But see here, there's rock everywhere. And it's a lot of fun when you go around the corner a little bit hot. Even on a bike like my Harley or my Honda that I'm used to riding, you hit some of those marbles and it's not a great experience. Every single corner. Came through here the first night after it had been new asphalt put in here. It had a little oil on the surface, and it was the first time out with the CB750 with the new tires, and that was fun, let me tell you. Got a little slickery. Worry a little bit. Now here they don't have the red rock pushed in again, so if I'd have gone a little wide on that, I'd have gone down off the edge here, which is not a lot of fun either. All right. So this is an interesting bike. It's the only one I think I've ever had that's got shaft drive. It's weird because when you get on it, now I'm not going to do it now, but the back end comes up. It's the torque put through from the engine, which has got the crankcase going this way, or the crankshaft going this way, to the forward rotation on the transmission, and then spinning that around and having the coming back from the transmission. You get all these weird torques. So it's funny in that it jacks the back end up. So when you're accelerating, you think it's going to wheelie, but it doesn't. It wants to go. It kind of pushes the nose down just a little bit. But nothing dramatic. But it just, every once in a while I get kind of a weird feel when I shift gears. It's like it pumps the back end up. Actually, we could go south past the casino. That'd be kind of fun. This building over here with the white teepees is a cultural community center or something like that. Cultural center for the Minnesota Southwest Midwakanton Sioux community. It's they do a lot of good around here. Huge community, gigantic casino, of course. We'll go back down past that. There's a big sign, Shakopee Midwakanton Sioux. I gotta be careful here because I think there's some lanes that peel off. I'm gonna go over a little bit because I don't want to go into the casino. There we go. So there is the casino. It is a huge place. There's a little 6 bingo. And that is Mystic Lake. And this is a stoplight. Still running awesome. I would drive through there, but they don't really, they kind of frown on that. I don't think they'd bother me, but When we moved here 25 years ago, this was very, very small, and it has continued to grow, massive parking ramps and things like that. But I've never been in there. I think I was once, just when we moved in, there was something we could go see, but I'm not a gambler. Gambling is a tax on people who are bad at math. It's one of my favorite sayings. So I work for my money. I'm not worried about getting it for free. I have friends of mine who would argue my point, but that's too bad. Well, I think that's about enough for this ride. We'll go home and maybe take the Harley out. This is a smooth bike. Man, there's a lot of power. Very fun to ride. If I keep talking that way, I'll do like I've done every single year since I got it. I bought this bike and I thought, it's too big for me, I'll get it running and I'll flip it. I got it running, I took it for a ride and I thought, wow, this is really cool. And then winter came. Took it out the next spring, thought, yeah, good, needs a little more tuning, so I did that. And then I got busy and I didn't ride it again until late summer, rode my Harley. And I took this out in the fall thinking, yeah, I should sell it, and every fall since then I've taken this thing out and thought, I gotta get rid of this thing. It just sits here. I've ridden it more this year than I have in the past, and I still agree with it. It is a great bike. If I wanted a vintage bike to just have and ride once in a while, that's great, but I'm more interested now in a few more projects that I want to do, and this one, honestly, it just sits here. I don't ride it, so I think in the spring I'll sell it, and watch me over the winter. I will convince myself otherwise, probably again, but that's that. All right. Well, thanks for going on a ride with me. It's always fun to ride on a different bike. And see you next time.